This week, Siskel and Ebert review Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, and James Garner in Maverick. A small town isn't big enough for both Mia Farrow and Natasha Richardson in Widow's Peak. Plus a look at the animated sequel, The Return of Jafar.
Remove your hands from the lady.
Sometimes when you least expect it, your hero arrives. Mr.
Cooper, Zane Cooper. Folks call me Coop. It suits me just fine. Coop.
Well, this silly-looking creature's named Maverick.
Mel Gibson is a light-hearted gambler who tries to talk himself out of trouble, and James Garner is the lawman he's up against in Maverick, one of 5 new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. Also on this show, a new movie starring 3 big actresses, Sissy Spacek, Mia Farrow, and Uma Thurman, and the made-for-video sequel to Aladdin. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is Maverick, and this is a genial Western comedy with likable stars that comes dangerously close to overstaying its welcome. There's no reason it couldn't be cut by 15 minutes. Mel Gibson plays Maverick, the fastest mental gun in the West, a card sharp, a ladies' man, and he can fast draw too. All he wants to do as the film opens is win $3,000 more so he can get a big stake for a big poker tournament.
I was just saying, I don't see what's so great about being brave. I mean, I'm a card player. I play cards, and call me a gambler. I want to become an old gambler. You, on the other hand, are a gunfighter. And an exceptional one at that, from what I hear. So if I decided to go up against you, I mean, what chance would I have had? Answer? 0. Absolutely none whatsoever.
In between poker hands, romance finds Maverick, or so he thinks, in the form of Jodie Foster as a poker queen who is very good at sleight of hand. You know what's coming here.
Annabelle. How can I possibly go on without my wallet? If you don't give me back my money, I'll have your ass thrown in jail.
Damn.
Oh, don't get mad at me.
The third major player in the story is a mysterious marshal played by James Garner, who, of course, was the original Brett Maverick on TV in the 50s. There is constant comic banter between these characters, each hiding secrets.
Are you mocking me?
We don't want you to get ruffled. Let's just say I was agreeing with you in a totally unusual way.
A lot of money has been spent on Maverick. This is a first-class production of a lightweight story. For example, we've seen the runaway stagecoach scene before in countless westerns, but not filmed in quite this luxurious manner. Everything is played for laughs in Maverick, including his encounter with Indians, led by a very hip chief played by Graham Greene from Dances with Wolves. He's old friends with Maverick, and in front of strangers, he has to pull Maverick together after Jodie Foster has stolen the gambler's bankroll.
How could she rob me? $22,000 when I was going off to face my doom. You're gonna cut my hands off, and she robbed me anyway. What are you talking about? There's not an ounce of decency in it. Pull yourself together, man! Everybody's looking.
A little bit of that character goes a long way, like a lot of the movie. The best things, however, about Maverick are its engaging stars and its gorgeous look as photographed by Vilmos Zsigmondt, and some fabulous Western locations. Mel Gibson also captures the open-faced sweetness of Maverick, the Maverick of our memory from that TV show in the 50s. And Jodie Foster makes a terrific romantic lead. I think she's more credible here than in Summersby. And James Garner's likability triumphs over an underwritten part. My one big beef with the movie is that it's just too darn long. It's full of characters playing tricks on one another, on us. It's the sting squared, and once we catch that rhythm, we want the show to move along and be done with. I'm giving Maverick a thumbs up, but strange as it may sound, I would have liked it a whole lot more if there had been a lot less to it.
Well, I'm pretty much in agreement with you on this one, including the likability and sweetness of all of the characters. And you know, Garner on television struck a different note than the other. There were, at one point in the late 50s, I think there were 15 or 20 westerns on TV, and his had a very particular note because of his likability and because of the fact that he didn't take it seriously. And Gibson is really the perfect choice to play this role among today's younger actors, and he's able to find the same things to do. But I agree with you. It is a bit long. On the other hand, it's a good-looking picture, and I'm thumbs up, too.
But marginally so. I really am surprised that they couldn't. This is a first-class production.
It could have been a little more tightly wound, and it just could have delivered a little more.
Then it would have had, some of the surprises would have had some shock. At this point, you're saying, I'm getting ready to leave, and you got 20 minutes to go.
Okay, next movie, and our next movie is called Trading Mom, and although it's intended for children and their parents, I imagine it would be a fairly depressing experience for both, and it certainly was for me. As the film begins, three children are restless with the discipline imposed by their hard-working single mom, played by Sissy Spacek. In fact, a family revolt is brewing.
Yeah, no wonder Dad left her.
Wish we didn't have to be stuck with her.
Hey, that's it!
What?
Maybe we could try to make her disappear, like Mrs. Cavour said.
The Mrs. Cavour they're talking about there is a neighborhood woman played by Maureen Stapleton as sort of a kindly witch. She told them about the spell to get rid of their mother, and later she tells them about the mommy market, where you go to find a new mother.
Keep the clock tower on your left and move west from it along the market. Halfway down the block is a small cobblestone street.
At the mommy market, they do find new mommies, lots of them, all played by Sissy Spacek, disguised by makeup. One is a rich French woman with hoity-toity airs.
Well, we get to ride, miss.
Oh, surely you did not expect us to take the bus.
The next is a gung-ho outdoor type.
You're going camping today!
And the third runs a circus and wants to put them all in the act.
We're about to go on tour.
We don't want to go on tour.
Although this film is based on a book for children, I have a feeling the movie might make kids uncomfortable. It's no joke losing your mom, and all of the three moms from the mommy market are all played by Spacek. The disguises are so complete and the voices are dubbed, and I doubt many kids are going to pick up on that, because maybe the filmmakers thought it was reassuring that this is really kind of a lesson, that this could be the mom that you would have gotten. I don't know. And what do they do? The point isn't that their real mommy is playing those other moms, it's that Spacek is acting in roles that could have easily gone to three different actresses. The bottom line is, Trading Mom is about losing your mother and being given a hard time by three replacements, and that's no fun.
Well, it isn't. This is a dreary, unhappy movie, and very, very lame. And I think, you know, Sissy Spacek has been an interesting case. She had children. She wanted to get away from Hollywood, so I think she moved to North Carolina.
Virginia.
Virginia. Okay, she's out there. She's away from the Hollywood world, and I think she probably entered this project because she'd like to do something for her children. I think a lot of stars have been have similar feelings. They get involved doing cartoon voices. But I think their taste often goes out the window, and they'll take on projects that they wouldn't have taken if they were working actresses. There's not an interesting role here for her. It's really lame kind of childhood daycare stuff. It's not a good part. It's not a good film.
No, and it's not. I think this is the part I'd really like to emphasize. It's not going to make the kids who see it feel very good. Coming up next, they made a sequel to Aladdin, and I'll bet you haven't heard of it. We'll explain why next. So get the kids as we review The Return of Jafar.
Stupid monkey! Put him down, Abismal! Who are you? My friends call me Al. You can call me Aladdin.
You know who that is? That's Aladdin, of course, and his monkey Abu in The Return of Jafar, the made-for-video sequel to the smash hit Aladdin. And the fact that it was made for video and not originally for theaters may explain why a lot of people haven't heard about this Aladdin sequel, and that's too bad because it's a pretty good film. To be sure, fewer songs, a little less production value, but still quite entertaining with all of the old characters like Aladdin and his Princess Jasmine, again tormented by the evil wizard Jafar, who has been turned into a genie. A featured role this time is given to Jafar's parrot, Iago, again with Gilbert Gottfried's comic voice, here being asked by Jafar, trapped in the genie's lamp, to be set free.
You know something? You're nothing without me. What? Who comes up with all the good ideas? Me! Who does all the work? Me!
If it weren't for me, you'd still be in a cage at the bazaar, squawking, Polly wants a cracker!
The best song in the movie, Just Forget About Love, sung by Iago and the film's Lovers. Aladdin is sung by Brad Kane, Jasmine by Liz Calloway.
forget about my heart.
I can't forget about my
heart. Fall for you right from the start.
I'm still falling.
Whatever we may do,
whatever
you are here for me, and I'll be there for you.
I'll be there
to wish, to want, to wander, to find the sun through rain and thunder.
A cozy rendezvous.
Yes, please.
I know what you're thinking. Where's the blue genie? Well, he's in the movie, and he is magical and funny in many scenes, but he's not played by, his voice isn't played by Robin Williams. Actually, the voice is played by Dan Castellaneta, who's also the voice of Homer Simpson. And I bet that fact that Robin Williams isn't in the movie is part of the decision to go directly to video with this project. Robin Williams was wildly underpaid for the original movie, the original Aladdin, and he wanted no part of any sequel. Still, there is considerable entertainment value to the genie character and to this film. I watched this picture on tape on my big screen last night with my kids. We all enjoyed it. So a positive review from me, but you have to go to a video store to find it, for The Return of Jafar.
I give it a thumbs up, too. I think the reason they didn't release it theatrically is they've got The Lion King coming out this summer. They have a big animated release every summer.
Right.
So there isn't room in the rotation for a sequel yet. This was the biggest animated movie ever made.
At that time.
So it's kind of clever to bring out
Financially.
a sequel on video. And it's interesting that they did push it a little bit. I like the fact that really a lot of the action hinges on Iago this time, who has a change of heart. I mean, he started out being Jafar's henchman, Jafar's henchman, and he turns out to be a good guy here. He struggles. There are a couple of times when he wants to just sit it out, and he's not going to get involved, but then he does come through, and that's interesting.
I'm glad they were able to keep Gilbert Gottfried in that role. When we come back, Natasha Richardson is the new widow in town, and Mia Farrow can't stand her in Widow's Peak.
And there were too many painful memories. You had to leave. Well, I hardly like to say. I'm sure.
Those are as plentiful as freckles on a redhead. Well, maybe you knew that.
I came to Kilshannon for the climate.
What climate? We're in Ireland.
Natasha Richardson plays a rich war widow there who has arrived in the Irish town of Kilshannon with plans to settle down. And Adrian Dunbar is the rich son of the rich local dowager who helps change her tire. The time is shortly after World War I, and there are a lot of widows in town, so many that the district is known as Widow's Peak. Not long after she arrives, Richardson is invited to tea by Dunbar's mother, played here by Joan Plowright. Among the guests is the circle's only spinster, played by Mia Farrow, who takes an instant and obvious dislike to the newcomer.
Nigel had often spoken so affectionately of Ireland. He loved this country so. He told me how he used to come here for the shooting.
Really? What did he shoot? Irishman?
It's only a matter of time until the attractive young widow and the eligible young bachelor find themselves facing the subject of marriage.
I came here to be rid of men.
Fortune hunters. That excludes me. We have pots of money, and so have you, otherwise you wouldn't be huntable. There are those who would say we were well matched.
Plowright, who approves of her son marrying Richardson, wants to play the local peacemaker. But Farrow is not to be persuaded. In fact, her irrational hatred of the outsider seems more extreme than ever.
But at least I know a gold ring from the brass one you'd find in a sweet cake on Halloween.
Yeah, a gold ring.
I'm talking about her. About her not being what she pretends to be. And that's maybe why, one of these dark nights, poor Miss O'Hare will walk into the lake in her madness.
Interesting.
Don't you see it? Are you blind? She's up to murder.
Okay, so now you think you know the situation in Widow's Peak, but actually, all you really know is the tip of the iceberg, because this movie has as many surprises as The Crying Game, although certainly not the same kind of surprises. It's sort of a combination of a lighthearted British comedy, a Miss Marple adventure, and a revenge thriller. It's very funny and constantly interesting, and you get so wrapped up in it, you have no idea where it's headed, which is just as well because you'd be wrong. This is still another wonderfully entertaining film from Ireland, which has given us half a dozen in the last few years.
But usually they have been about Irish men. And what's enjoyable here is that the strength of the Irish women that we're seeing on this film. And I did not know where this picture was going, and I certainly enjoyed that. It's such a rare experience for us to be surprised in a film and to see it's small in scope, but it is so beautifully done and performed by each of these actresses that it's really a real kick to see.
You know, the funny thing is, a lot of times when a movie does have surprises, it counts on the surprises for its entertainment value. This movie is entertaining every step of the way. The dialogue is funny. Well, the details, including that spyglass, they're funny. The characters are funny.
I thought what you were going to say is that if it had been written another way, it doesn't depend on the surprises.
No, it doesn't.
If it had been written another way, we would have been just as satisfied too.
Okay, when we come back, a best-selling novel by Tom Robbins has been made into a movie. Even Cowgirls, Get the Blues is next.
My folks told me, you're too big now. Santa doesn't have any cowgirl suits that'll fit you. How'd you like a Barbie with her own fashion wardrobe?
Appointment. Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, from the very talented director Gus Van Sant, the creator of Drugstore Cowboy and My Own Private Idaho. He's a talented filmmaker, but this one just doesn't cut it. It's based on the Tom Robbins cult novel about a woman hitchhiker with huge thumbs. We can relate to that. This is the story of female emancipation with the beautiful Uma Thurman as the woman any man would stop for.
Now you bumming around?
Yep.
Hitchhiking?
Please don't think me immodest, but I'm really the best.
You the best?
I am. When I was younger, I hitchhiked 127 hours without stopping.
Her travels take her to the all-woman Rubber Rose Ranch, where she is supposed to shoot a feminine hygiene TV commercial. But first, she is befriended by a character known as Bonanza Jelly Bean, played by the actress Rain Phoenix, who talks about cowgirls being a symbol of women's freedom and parity with men.
In the Rodeo Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City, there are just 2 cowgirls. 2. And both of them are trick riders. Trick riding is what cowgirls have almost always done in rodeo. Our society sure likes to see its unconventional women do tricks. That's what prostitutes call it.
The Rubber Rose Ranch is where this movie should take flight, but it is hopelessly grounded there in characters too quirky for their own good, including Angie Dickinson as the ranch's hostess.
Up there is where the fanny flap flies off at a rate of about 675 pounds a day. That's a lot of salted ham, sissy.
Even Cowgirls Get the Blues turns out to be all frosting and no cake, all oddity, little substance, with each character more outlandish than the last. I think the world has moved past this story. I think we can accept women living on their own together, so this story needs to take these characters, these fresh characters, and take us someplace fresh and provocative. The novel was written 18 years ago. For this film to work, I think the story had to be updated. I can't recommend Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, and I'm surprised because this is a filmmaker I really like.
Either. The one thing that I liked in the movie was the way that Rain Phoenix photographs. I think that in a different movie she could be a very interesting actress. This movie is a complete disaster. I saw it last September at the Toronto Film Festival. It had its world premiere. It was supposed to open in another 2 weeks. The audience sat there in stunned silence. They walked out with their eyes on the ground. The studio realized they had a disaster on their hands, and they yanked it from release, re-edited it. I've seen it now a second time. It's a little shorter. It's completely incomprehensible. You sit there wondering, not only don't you comprehend the story, but you don't comprehend the purpose of the story. Well, and it's a waste of time.
I think that basically what they're trying to say is, I mean, they're trying to show her independent on her own and all these women living on their own, but they're so what? So what? You want to take us, we know that, now take us with these characters someplace.
When we come back, our video pick of the week, one of this year's Oscar nominees for Best Picture. Now it's time for the video pick of the week of my choice, which has recently arrived in the video stores as the Academy Award nominee, The Remains of the Day. This is one of the most subtle and civilized of recent films, starring Anthony Hopkins as a British butler who spent most of his life in the service of a man he never really even began to understand. In one of the movie's many scenes where people fail to communicate, the butler attempts to explain the facts of life to his employer's godson, who obviously already knows them quite well. He's played here by Hugh Grant, star of the current hit 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
What I'm trying to say, sir, is that with the arrival of spring, we shall see a most remarkable and profound change in all these surroundings, sir.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right. I'm sure the grounds are not at their best just now.
The movie is also a quiet love story, so quiet that the butler hardly even realizes that the head housekeeper, played by Emma Thompson, fancies him.
Might it be that our Mr. Stevens fears distraction? Can it be that our Mr. Stevens is flesh and blood after all and cannot trust himself?
The remains of the day, my video pick of the week. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed on this show. We both voted thumbs up for Maverick, the good-natured film version of the classic TV Western with Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, and James Garner back in his own territory. But it could have been shorter. 2 big thumbs down for Trading Mom, an awkward and disturbing movie about 3 children who try to trade their mom in for 3 new models. The Return of Jafar gets 2 thumbs up with this sequel to the big animated hit Aladdin. It's got some nice songs, some funny moments, but it's only on video. It's not in theaters. 2 big thumbs up for Widow's Peak, a charming and surprising Irish film that has some smiles and then it packs a wallop. And 2 very big thumbs down for the confused, disorganized, and pointless Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, which is bewildering to watch and painful to remember.
So the best of the bunch is Widow's Peak, but also The Return of Jafar, surprisingly good. It is available on home video.
Okay, that's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with a special show called Our Favorite Movies for Kids. 10 movies we recommend for children and the grown-up kids that they live with. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.